So we just wrapped up our randomized controlled trial of lethal means counseling, and I think we can all reflect on that being a, in some ways difficult, but really positive and rewarding experience. I'm curious, what were some of the most surprising or exciting outcomes that you experienced during this trial?
Yeah, there were definitely a few, and I thought was like really nice benefit of like seeing the trial all the way through. Was I know for one was like actually seeing that I guess these conversations did plant a seed in some people's heads, and they're thinking about how they store their firearms. There were a few instances where during follow-ups they would discuss how they had like did a new storage practice that maybe wasn't a part of the original plan. And when we asked, what kind of led to that, it would be that the conversation kind of stuck with them. And I know what was also interesting is that we gave cable locks out at the end for those who maybe not didn't receive it in the beginning, and just offered it, and how many people were excited and willing to come pick them up from the campus even if they didn't live nearby. They really were excited about getting cable locks, which I thought was really interesting to see.
Yeah, I think something that was really neat was that you might be having a conversation about one storage change that they could make, right? So they've talked about how they want to have like a what if plan for their family. And so you get to the end of that conversation, and then they're like, oh, well, now I'm also going to make this other change. And I saw that happen even with people that were doing things relatively safely before, just by having that conversation and talking about something completely different. By the end, they were like, oh, I'm also going to do this thing, even in that 15-minute conversation before that, like had time to sit with them. So I think that was really cool. I also would say that our retention rate was like really high, and the acceptability, most like everybody that did the lethal means counseling said they would recommend a friend to do it, um, or another service member to do it. And I think that's like really huge, because you think that these conversations are going to put people off. You think that no one's going to want to do it, but most of the people stayed in our trial. A lot, like it was impressive how many people stayed in our trial, and that there's a lot of credit for a lot of people there, but also just how much they were willing to also want their friends to participate in it. And even some participants afterwards said, this is really great, it needs to be out more in the military, this needs to be around more. And so just the high level of acceptability was really cool to me.
Yeah, and I'd say the surprising thing to me came from stories from you guys, which is how many people actually were not entirely certain how to use the cable locks we were providing. And what that said to me is that it's really important to come in these conversations not assuming that you know what someone else knows. And so we bring our own anxiety about our level of knowledge into these conversations. We also bring our own assumptions into the room about who other folks are and what they know and what they do. And I think that really highlights the importance of putting those expectations and assumptions aside, and making sure that the things you're recommending are resonating and understood with the person you're speaking to, instead of just assuming you know who they are and what they know.